I was met with a comment, just another stay-at-home mum starting a business during lockdown.
Yeah.
And at the same time that I was quite like, okay, like I was a bit shook to the core, I was also, okay, watch me now then.
Brilliant. Yeah. Love it. Hello, Greg from Balloon Market here, and welcome to BMTV. And as you can see, we are not in the studio. Oh no, not our studio anyway. We are here at the headquarters of Dress Your Daydream with Katherine, the owner of Dress Your Daydream. Katherine, thank you. I'm going to turn around and get comfortable. This is lovely being on a sofa.
Well, do you know what, Greg? I'm honoured to have you on my sofa.
Anyway, thank you so much for doing this. It's really nice to meet you and to see people. I'm loving seeing people in the flesh, but this is really nice to come out of the studio, drive up here. We're in Birmingham, sunny Birmingham, and it is sunny
Birmingham
today. And yeah, I just really wanted to. Obviously, we had a chat on your launch party for your podcast, and I'd like to talk about that at some point. Mm-hmm. But I just wanted to find out more about you, how long you've been in the industry. I just want to know your story because I find it fascinating, and the focus that you've got on the business side of it. I think you're an inspiration to people in the industry already, even in your short time. But I'm giving things away here. I'd like you to tell the story to everybody out there. So yeah, okay. Go ahead, tell me.
So I basically started off completely clueless and had no idea that this industry even existed. I did it on a complete whim to stay with my son.
Yeah.
Because I was a fresh mum, didn't want to leave him, and I thought there's got to be something. I've always been quite a creative person. So I first started off trying to express art through digital downloads, which formed an Etsy shop that failed quite quickly and found that it wasn't for me. And then from there, I thought, I love parties, I love events. I'm just going to go with that and see how we get on. I first of all got flower walls, sweet carts, all the generic event props, and from there found Bloons. And as soon as I did my first garland for my sister's baby shower, I was like, this is me, this is where I belong.
Yeah.
Although I should tell you that I did blow up 250 Bloons by mouth from Amazon.
Oh no. Oh, yeah, the pumps don't even cost that much.
No, I didn't even know pumps existed.
Wow.
I had no idea that an electric balloon pump was a thing. So there I am, like rounding the troops. It took me 2 days. 2 days to blow up 250 balloons.
You must have been so lightheaded. I blew up a single balloon and I was falling over.
I was like, surely this isn't how the professionals do it.
Yeah. And
I didn't know that your balloons had to be round. I thought that was a completely different kind of balloon. Okay. I had no idea. So even my 5-inch balloons were around this big.
Yeah.
I had no structure at all, but I still loved it. And one of the nurses came into the house and looked at it and went, oh, wow, that's nice. And I was like, oh, okay, she likes it. It's a stranger, she doesn't have to lie. So surely this is gonna get somewhere.
Yeah.
So then I just, from there, had a fire in my belly and thought, I'm gonna go for it. As you do, joined so many different groups and, you know, just trying to form some kind of community around a new venture. I wasn't met with the best approach, basically. I wasn't met with oh, you know, support, you do this.
So when was this? This
is back in March 2020. So I launched my business on the first week of lockdown.
Okay.
Which some people think, you know, I'm launching a business in the first week of lockdown, that's bad luck. But for me, I was like, no, this is good.
Yeah.
Because I've got time. Not everyone has time when they're starting a business, but time is all we had then.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is a
look
business.
At Sorry. This is so exciting.
You wanted to catch me.
I'm loving it. Sorry, I was just excited at a train.
Yeah, it's fine. I got a photobomb by a train. So I just thought, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to use this time to really create not just a business, but make the business and mould it into exactly who I am and represent what I love to do. So yeah, I basically just went onto a load of groups, tried to learn, practiced every single day, every spare waking moment with a 1-year-old and a puppy.
Yeah.
The house was chaos.
Oh dear, I can imagine.
Pure chaos.
Yeah.
But it was worth it.
Yeah. So what did you do before?
I worked with children before. I worked with children since I left school. And then obviously when I got pregnant and had Fred, I was like, it doesn't weigh up, it doesn't align with me anymore.
Okay, yeah.
So that's when the creative spark was just like trying to get out of me, like, Katherine, now is your time to do something.
So Fred's 3 now.
Yeah.
So you'd been at home a year
Yeah.
already or so.
Yeah.
And then you
I just went
on
through
this journey.
Yeah, it's crazy because it's when you think everything is falling apart that something amazing actually happens.
Yeah.
And I was in a time of my life where my maternity leave had finished. I was in a crunch time. I have to make money and I have to do it now. In the middle of the very beginning of a pandemic that nobody had a clue how
Absolutely.
to run a business, let alone start a business in the
Yep.
pandemic. But then I also had to weigh up the fact that my husband is actually self-employed as well. So it was juggling.
Yeah.
And I find that I work better under pressure anyway. So I was
Yeah.
like, bring it on.
Yeah. Brilliant approach. So you say that it wasn't met with the best reception. What is that? Friends? Was it family? Was it?
Yeah, so, I mean, don't get me wrong, I wasn't like hounded with, oh, you're doing Bloons. Like, it wasn't like a negative, but there wasn't support out there that I would have thought.
Yeah.
Naturally, I'm quite I'd like to think that I'm quite an open person.
Yeah.
And I would have thought that throughout any industry, there would be some sort of support system or someone that you could go to kind of get that support handed to you, or
Yeah.
just somebody to speak to.
Yeah.
But I didn't get that. And don't get me wrong, I've met some incredible people at the beginning of my journey who are still with me now. And I was met with a comment, just another stay-at-home mom starting a business during lockdown.
Yeah.
And at the same time that I was quite like, okay, like I was a bit shook to the core, I was also, okay, watch me now then.
Brilliant. Love it.
But, you know, you're not going to get, because this has been here for so long. This industry has been here longer than I have ever known it or been alive, so to speak.
Yeah.
But things evolve,
Yeah.
things change. So
Yeah.
there's definitely support in other kind of. There's a big umbrella, isn't there, with Bloons.
Mm-hmm.
In some sectors, say for helium and stuff like that, there is a lot of support out there because it's learning fundamentals. But with organics, because it is so individual, it's very hard to tailor any kind of support to organic work.
I think it's really interesting what you're saying there, though, with just going back to the negative comments, because there were a few of those. A few people, for whatever reason, started in the pandemic, probably because they had time, they were on furlough. There's never going to be a better time to do it because I'm getting paid 80% of my salary, but I'm at home and I've got all this time, so I might as well try. So I think people did that. And I think there was quite a lot of, there were quite a few negative comments from people that have been in the industry a while saying, oh, all these people coming in, undercutting and doing all of that. And I don't think necessarily people were undercutting. People are just figuring it out. How do you do pricing? I don't know when you first start a business. And I think it was, so I was always, I want to be supportive of new people joining the industry. I think if our industry grows, then there's just more of an awareness of balloons and what we all do, and that just helps it grow further. If to me, it just seems to make sense. Now, you mentioned organics there, but we've not actually talked about exactly what it is you do. So do you want to tell everybody what it is you do?
Yeah, so I like to call it art from the heart, basically. And I never plan anything, it just kind of happens. I focus and specialise mainly in organic work, because if I was to ever do anything neat, I know I'm bad at that. I've tried, I'm really bad at it. And so when I first started doing garlands, I thought, oh yeah, you know, just shove a garland up. I never knew that there was actual skill to it. There wasn't, it's a way of expression for me, and big organic installations is what I like to, I'm obsessed, to be honest. I'm just obsessed with it, with every aspect of it. And yeah, that's pretty much what I'm about when it comes to Bloons.
So you started off doing organic, so you were going out there dealing with clients and doing the organic installations. So your business has changed now, so tell me about that.
So the change happened quickly and unexpectedly, and basically what had happened was I was doing all these events, and don't get me wrong, I love doing the events and I love working with clients. It didn't really set my soul on fire. Even though I was so happy and motivated to do it, I didn't feel that kind of spark. And from there I started just uploading videos onto my Instagram. So short videos, little tips of how other people can start balloon business. And so from there, I had loads of messages about how can I do this, how can I do this? And I was like, well, people are actually listening to me and need help. I didn't have knowledge under my belt.
Yeah.
I weren't kidding anybody. I've never been on a course. I've never done any kind of professional training. I literally was just talking from experience on my Instagram.
Yeah, yeah.
And then my husband said to me, Katherine, why don't you start a YouTube? This was my worst nightmare, Greg, I'm not even joking. I thought getting on my stories is bad enough. I would never be able to do a YouTube.
Yeah.
So I did a YouTube anyway, because I thought you don't grow in your comfort zone.
That's absolutely right, yeah.
And I just did videos, tutorials, sit-down videos of how other people can be successful in the balloon industry. Quite quickly, I was getting quite a lot of messages, and roughly the same kind of messages. And I said to my husband, there's got to be somewhere, a safe place that I can give people these answers, but not just half-arse it on a DM and be like, oh, this is what you do, or I can't get through them all, because there was lots of people who wanted to know, obviously. And so what I did was thought, right, let's just make one hub, a training hub, where it's a safe place, where it's a community. There's no secrets. It's just purely to encourage and empower people to complete their goals and start their businesses. So we created Dress Your Daydream Academy, and the academy is what sets my soul on fire. I'm obsessed. It's my baby, and teaching is turned into my life.
So this is really interesting. So you didn't actually do any training courses?
No.
And was that because of lockdown? There were no training courses, or did you just want to figure it out yourself?
Yeah.
I mean, you went from blowing balloons up from Amazon with your mouth to having a training academy. And that was in what period of time? When did you start the academy?
I started the academy, I think it was January. Yeah, it was January 2021.
So we're looking 9 months, really.
Yeah.
And that's a phenomenally fast journey. I mean, people are just still struggling to try and get clients at 8-9 months. It's hard.
Yeah.
And you'd gone on this journey from no training, blowing balloons up from Amazon with your mouth.
Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't got a disease.
But you must have invested in yourself, watching videos, really learning, practicing, playing, figuring it out. You did the hard work that training normally helps you avoid, but you actually did it the hard way, but you did it really, really quickly. And I quite often say that training takes you from A to B, but in this much time.
Yeah.
But you did it that way, but you still did it in that much time because you were putting so much into it. That's amazing.
I always say, if you put your heart and soul into something, you can't fail no matter what it is.
Yeah.
And I was so determined, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it right. That means, making mistakes. I'm not going to sit here and say I've never made a mistake. Every balloon garland I've ever made has been perfect. It hasn't. I've literally had so many different displays. I used to do furniture removals in my house just to be able to practice a setup. So I've got a big through lounge in my house, and half it's a dining room. Half of it used to go just so I had somewhere to practice.
Yeah.
Because half of it was because of COVID. There was no training courses available, and I couldn't relate to any. Not that they were bad in any way. They all looked amazing, but I always stay in tune with my gut. And if something doesn't feel right, I won't do it. And so I thought, I'm just going to learn, I'm just going to practice. And then worst case scenario, if I really do feel like, okay, I cannot do this, I'll go on to as many training courses as possible when COVID's over. Because I thought I was so naive. I was like, oh yeah, 3 weeks, 3-week lockdown, we'll go back to normal. I had no idea.
None of us did.
Yeah, it was a whirlwind. And so by the time that we was starting to see some kind of light at the end of the tunnel, I'd already practiced that many times and failed that many times that I was able to develop a style and really solidify my technique. And that's what game changes everything.
I think that's brilliant. I love the fact that you failed and failed and failed by the sounds
Failed
of it.
and failed.
Tell us about some of your failures.
Oh, God, honestly, there's been times where I've cried so horrendously and sat there multiple occasions thinking, this isn't for me. I can't do it. How am I, again, comparing, how am I ever going to be like them? How am I ever going to make it?
Yeah.
How am I ever going to be successful? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm winging it. I've never been on training. I used to like really be like, who am I to be able to do this?
Yeah.
And so this one time I had moved everything out of my living room, sat there from 9 o'clock in the morning. It was starting to go dark at about 5 o'clock. I'd spent the whole day on this setup and I looked at it and I was like, it is a big blob of mess. Cried my eyes out and got the whole thing. It was on a mesh frame hoop and threw it out my back door in like some massive tantrum. I was like, that's me done. I'm not doing it anymore. I failed loads of times, but when you fail, you can't see this as a negative. You've got to see it as it's a push forward to what you actually want to see from your style and what doesn't work for you, because it's not a one size fits all. What works for somebody else won't work for you. And equally, I always say the stuff when I'm teaching, that won't work for everyone either, because it's not necessarily the right way or the wrong way.
Well, that's the thing with the balloon industry. You go on courses and you learn a particular way, but organic, 10 years ago didn't exist.
Yeah.
So those have just been developed by other individuals. So you've developed your way and now you're teaching that. So going back to the academy. So the academy is is that when you have people in and you train them one-to-one, or are you talking about the online side of things? Because you've got both, haven't you?
Yeah, so I do both trainings. I do in person and online. The academy is purely online. Okay. So the reason why I did this is because I want it to be accessible for everybody. I want everybody, no matter where you're from, what you do as a job, if you're a mom, I want you to be able to have the same opportunities as everybody else. Yeah. And so I thought if it's accessible, affordable and valuable, everybody has a good chance of succeeding in their industry. Yeah. So it's all online. We've got an app, which is a teaching platform. Excellent. And it's a catalogue. We've just literally got a catalogue of videos and we cover so much on there. Behind the scene bits that you don't even think of doing. Yeah. All down to skill from back to basics. I literally wanted it to be for everybody to revert any bad habits and put good ones in play. Yeah. And this is it's a monthly fee. Yeah. And you've just got access to these videos and you add new videos all the time? Yeah, so you get instant access as soon as you sign up, and you basically just have 2 tutorials minimum a week. Mm-hmm. So it's quite hard to say, isn't it? Wow. 2 tutorials a week. But we also have, it's not just the app, it's the community that comes with it. Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a private Facebook group. And on this private Facebook group, you've got people from all over the world and at all different points of their business. Oh, brilliant. So we do a weekly live on there on a Tuesday. So we do Q&As, I do topics such as pricing, social media, the real pain points that you feel like you're going through on your own and that's not normal. And actually being like, no, this is normal. Yeah. Like these problems do occur. It's just that nobody wants to highlight it on their social media. Well, you don't, do you? So you're on Instagram, you've got your perfect finished creation, and it's like, look how awesome I am. Yeah. Nobody sees you pulling your hair out when the balloons are bursting, or something has gone wrong, or you've forgotten your electric pump, or whatever it might be. Nobody sees that. I want to normalise. That is my goal with the academy. I want to normalise and I want to strip things right back to basics. I want people to believe that skill over style, first of all, that's a massive indicator that you're on the right path. If you've got your skill and your technique down, you've just unlocked a whole club full of opportunities for you to, and possibilities to explore. All through just tiny skills that you wouldn't even think of. So do you talk about, it's not just about the balloons and all of that, you talk about the business side of it, and I've listened to some of your podcasts that we'll come on to. Yeah. But you're also there talking about how to get people enthusiastic, how people stay positive. I mean, it sounds like a simple thing,
But in this day and age, on the good old Facebook groups, you know, bad comments, people saying that, you know, what gives you the right to blah, 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 all of this sort of stuff, it's very easy to just decide, I'm done. I'm not going to do it. So you talk a lot about that and some of your experiences and things that you've had there as well, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. So we've actually got a whole mindset category on the app, and it covers from personal to, as a business, how to approach things. So for example, if a client really makes you feel deflated, pardon the pun, or if you are stuck and just feel like it's stagnant and your business isn't going anywhere, or the best one of all is when you feel like you've got no inquiries, you've got no clients, and you feel like your business isn't growing. How to see that as a positive instead of being like, oh wow, great, my business is rubbish because I've got no clients, and how to actually use that time and inject it back into the business so you can grow it from a quiet period. Every bad situation is good, like you're making room for good and opportunities.
Yeah, it's how you view it.
Exactly.
Everybody, what is it they say? You can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you react to it.
Yeah.
And I think that's true. So if you frame it as something positive, it's like redundancy. I was made redundant from Sainsbury's I used to work for before I joined the business. And along with 700 other people, it was a new chief executive came in and said, okay, you lot go. And
thank God they did that.
Well, but exactly, that's how I look at it, because we'd started the business, myself and my wife. We were 6 months in, and she was doing the day-to-day. I was doing the website-y stuff at night time and all of that. And then I was made redundant, and it just meant I was forced to join the business. Had I still had the comfort of a job, it was always my intention to join the business, but would I have done that? I don't know. So
safety nets.
Exactly, and so that positive came out of what I mean. It was very positive because it was like brilliant. I'm being made redundant. I'm being forced into the business. I was very positive about it from when I knew it was happening. But a lot of people view redundancy and things like that as a bad thing. But it can lead to whatever, you know.
You literally, what happens to you on your journey as a balloon artist isn't happening to you or at you. It's happening for you. And if you have that mindset, nothing will stop you. You're always going to have people, no matter what good you're doing, try and drag you down. That's human nature. It happens not just in the balloon industry, but unfortunately it happens in every walk of life, whether you're in school, college, or starting a new career, or whatever it may be. You're always going to have someone trying to penetrate your aura with negativity.
Yeah, absolutely.
And my advice is put your blinkers on. Just tunnel vision, and just know if your intentions are pure, nothing will ever matter other than that.
If so many people focus on what everybody else is doing and what everybody is saying about them, if you just focus on what you're doing, which is clearly what you've done, it's the speed at which you've done this that blows my mind. Honestly, you have just. I have that image of you with the Amazon balloons and blowing them up.
I wish I took a photo.
I know. That we're from this to this in 2 years. I think it's fantastic.
Thank you.
But yeah, you need to have that positive mindset. And if you do believe what people are saying, if you do listen to the negativity or people attacking you or whatever, then my advice is always ignore them. Just absolutely ignore. Just crack on. Do you. Don't think that anybody else has any idea what it is that you're trying to achieve. They don't. Do you. You're
on your own personal journey. I mean, I've had people say that I'm the reason for the balloon shortage. So if you're watching this, guys, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I'm the reason for the balloon shortage, because I'm encouraging other balloon artists to start their business. Where in fact, we're actually doing the whole industry a favour, because like you said, the organics started 10 years ago, and you think about how much it's evolved already. Imagine if we was able to evolve it and shape it into the most supportive industry and most open industry out of all of them in the creative aspect, because we're all willing to share, we're all willing to be real and not sugarcoat all of our experiences to be incredible. And we've all got incredible high paying clients, and our journeys have been so smooth, and you know, we're all full of secrets. And it doesn't have to be like that. We can all actually communicate, network, and me and Michelle, who I did the podcast with, which we're going to talk about later, we prioritise networking and prioritise building the community, which is one of the massive factors of the academy is the community, like I said before, because you've got to realise that other people are going through it, and if you're scared to ask the questions, somebody else has already asked them for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's life. Any time anybody starts working for us and we do the induction, we say, you're going to make mistakes. Every person that's here has made those mistakes, so don't worry about making those mistakes. We'll try not to, and we'll put processes in place, but we all make mistakes. But it's the same in life. If you've got there's no such thing as a silly question. I mean, there are, but you know what I mean. If it's close to relevant, it's not a silly question. But I don't know. I just think it's great to have a community where you feel safe. And it sounds like the academy. If people want to join the academy, where do they go? What do they do?
So you can go to dressyourdaydream.co.uk/academy, or you can just head over to my Instagram where the link is in my bio.
Okay.
But all the information is there. You don't have to join the academy to get information from Dress Your Daydream. We've got a free webinar that is available. It's called the Ultimate Startup Guide for Starting Your Business.
Okay.
And I cover so much information on there as well. And I try and get over with so many reels as much information and as much value as possible. If you're at the very beginning, you don't always have to spend thousands and thousands of pounds. It's just tiny little investments into your business. As I said, the academy, I wanted to be accessible and affordable for everybody worldwide. And I feel like it is. And I feel very proud of the academy.
You should be. I'm very impressed. And like I say, the speed at which you've done it, and you're doing it from your own experience, your own knowledge, and blood, sweat, and tears.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
But you're making something of that now, so that's absolutely fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I would like to say as well, your Instagram account is lovely. How many followers have you got? Subscribers? No, what followers? Followers on Instagram. I get confused. Followers and subscribers and likers and everything else.
It's mad. So before I just want to say it is just, don't focus on the number.
Okay.
So it's around somewhere 81,000 mark, which is, I'm so grateful. I cannot for the life of me even fathom the fact that that many people are interested in my work. And that's what I focus on, is the people behind the number, because that's what matters. People come to me and say, I haven't got 200 followers on Instagram, so that means that my work isn't valued or worth it. And I just say, if you stand on a stage and invite those 200 people, whoever amount of people are following you on Instagram, to come and watch you on that stage, even 50 people, that is a lot of people to come and be interested and invested in what you're doing and enjoying your content. So just focus on not the number, but the people who are actually behind it.
Plus the numbers always start lower. You don't overnight start with 80,000 followers, do you? It's the same with us. I mean, on BMTV on YouTube, it's for the first 2 years, it was just a trickle. It was just a few people, a few more subscribers every week.
And it doesn't go like that all the time. It's like this.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can lose your followers, and it's not going to mean that your content is bad, or it's not going to mean that your business is going to fail. It just means people fall in and out of interest. And that's okay.
I think when you are relying on your self-worth to be based on the number of followers you've got or the number of likes, that can take you in a negative state, and you don't want to do that. And it's like when people dislike our videos, which occasionally happens. It doesn't worry me, because I think everybody has an opinion. Everybody has their own view. But the majority seem to quite like what we do, and obviously a lot of people like what you do.
And that's why it's important to engage with the followers that you have got, whether that be 10 or 10,000, to make sure that they are still enjoying the content. Put a poll on your story, ask them a question, go in and message them or comment on the work, and be truly invested in them as well. Genuinely invested, not just, oh, it's just another number. Oh, I've got another 100 now. Like, it doesn't matter. As long as you're being your genuine, authentic self and providing value to those people who are taking time to look at your content and support you, that's all that matters.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that comes across as well. Authenticity is very important. I think you've got to be yourself. And because people see through it if you're not.
You can't keep up with it.
No, you can't. You can't be fake all the time. It's just it's hard work. So that's why BMTV is what it is. It's just me in front of BMTV and you with all your, you come across very naturally on your YouTube channel as well.
See, that wasn't even natural. That was pure force myself to do it.
Yeah.
And then eventually, I remember this one girl, on one of my first videos, a girl commented saying, "Oh my God, she talks too much." And I even looked at it and I said, "She's right, I do." She's right. And I thought, but that's me.
Yeah.
That's me, I do talk a lot. You've got to in this industry.
That's fine.
We're people.
Yeah, exactly. And you've got things to say. So it's absolutely fine. So no, I think it's brilliant. Now, you sound like Gary Vaynerchuk. Do you know Gary Vaynerchuk?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Gary Vaynerchuk and Stephen Bartlett are two of my go-to people at the moment.
The guys.
And but by the way, here's a tip for everybody. Stephen Bartlett, go and have a look at his podcast. It's called Something of a CEO, Diary of a CEO. He's just done one with Jimmy Carr. It's fantastic. Not the Jimmy Carr you used to seeing. Just go and have a listen. It's brilliant. Which leads us anyway to the podcast.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So the podcast came about, Michelle actually came up with the idea, and Michelle is a fountain of knowledge.
Okay.
And she was like, right, we can give so much value. We can reach so many people and help share this knowledge with people in a really informal, kind of best friend kind of vibe of a way. And so we was like, right, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it properly. So we had a team. We really planned it. We really had thought. We didn't just sit down one day and thought, right, we're going to do a podcast. We thought, we're going to do this properly. So in every short episode, people get value from it and learn something. And so we basically came up with, it was around 10 topics. So we came up with 30 and then narrowed it down to 10 topics where we thought, where are the pain points? Where are people struggling with right now? And really focused on those and didn't hold back with the knowledge that we were sharing. I mean, if you haven't seen the podcast, heard the podcast, you will learn something from that. You can always learn.
Yeah.
And
absolutely. I mean, I was listening to it. We've been in business 18 years, and you still learn something new. And I love it. And even if you don't learn something new, it's just a reminder of, yeah, that's what I should do. I shouldn't worry about this or worry about that. Or
we wanted to
whatever.
Dissect it and have more of a natural approach to the industry and normalising that problems occur and have a community feel rather than, we have to be against each other all the time, or so-and-so started up a balloon business down the road, she's going to take all my business. It doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
How can you help that person in your community rather than work against them?
Yeah. Well, the podcast is great. And for those of you that haven't come across it, it is called?
It's called Bloons Mean Business.
And it did get up, you did a live show, didn't you? And you were nice enough to invite me to be on that on Instagram. And what number did you get up to? I thought it got up to number 3 on the Apple Business Podcast charts, didn't it?
Yes.
But then I thought, did it get to number 2?
It got to number 2.
Oh, excellent. I knew I'd heard it somewhere. 2. Oh, that's a shame we didn't get to number 1.
Well, it was Stephen Bartlett. Stephen Bartlett, if you're watching this right now, you're in trouble, my friend, because we literally was like, we're going to knock him off the charts. Yeah. Imagine if we knocked him off the charts. We found out here it was 4 hours in, I think, so 4 hours since launch. I'm sat here. I couldn't do anything but stare at my phone for these 4 hours. I was like, oh my gosh. And I phoned Michelle, I was like, we're just going to check, see if we can find any kind of update and see how it's doing. And when I saw our picture at number 5, I was like, Michelle! I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I didn't think we'd chart. And I'm not saying that because I didn't believe in us. I believe in us. But with the millions of podcasts out there and never in a trillion years, we was told that we'd be lucky to get in the top 50, let alone top 5.
What's it based on? How do they measure it? Do you know?
Apple measure it somehow. I think it's to do with how many people listen to it, the reviews, all this kind of thing. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. Yeah. But the fact that people actually inputted their time and gave us their feedback honestly the most magical week ever. It's crazy.
Fantastic. Catherine, I could talk to you for hours.
I know.
I could see that this is just could go on forever and ever, but I think we will have to stop there. It's been lovely to meet you.
Thank you so much.
As a guest on BMTV, you get to ask the question of the week. I totally forgot to prep you for that.
Question of the week on the spot. Wow.
What are you going to ask the BMTV nation? What would you like to know?
What would I like to know? Oh, wow.
Doesn't have to be balloon related. It could be anything at all.
Okay. My question to the BMTV nation is, what are you doing on a daily basis to meet your goal? Whether that be, are you waking up half an hour earlier to prep some balloons? Are you spending an hour of your time trying to create different custom colours? There's got to be something, 1% every day to get you closer.
Okay, 1% every day. Cool.
There you go.
Catherine, thank you so much. It's been an absolute joy to talk to you. What I'd like to do, if it's okay, I'd like to come back and have you show us how to do something maybe with balloons.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, excellent. I thought I'd get that on camera so you couldn't say no. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. And thank you, everybody out there, for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you've not subscribed, please do hit that subscribe button and hit the little bell icon as well. And that way you'll be notified every time we upload a new show. Check us out on Instagram whilst you're there. Stay safe, stay happy. See you soon. Bye.
Bye, guys.